Thank you, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's the last talk. All of us are a little bit tired, I think. At least I'm so tired right now. So I will try to do this stuff quickly. So, I'm Ignacio Navarro. I'm from Córdoba, Argentina. It's quite far from here. I work in application security in an insurance company, and also in my free time I do some ethical hacking stuff. That's it. And a fun fact, as I told you yesterday, if you went to the storytelling, I love sneakers, and also I made clothes, so I deal with that shit. What we're going to see today, first of all, a little introduction, how I found this system, the Argentinian company in charge of the entire production of that stuff. Some IDORs, broken authorizations, a little bit about the Android application, who they have. Account takeover, race conditions. There was a web server using for bookings. I mean, you can book different arcade or amusement parks. Some site server who I found using Shoodan and that, and a little bit about the NFC. I divide the talk in different stages, 10 stages, plus the stage number 0. So that's it. But first of all, a little disclaimer, because maybe some techniques and procedures are not completely legal, so please don't do that stuff at your home. And if you found something, just report that immediately. Just don't be an asshole. Just defacing website and that stuff. In Argentina, there were some people defacing some universities or libraries, so why are you doing that shit? So, last December, I went to Sao Paulo for Hackers to Hackers, a really nice conference. So technical and that, but also they have a lot of parties over there. I mean, there's party from Friday to Sunday. So I really love the conference. And in one of those parties, I met a girl from Brazil, and the next day we went to take some drinks. And after some beers, we were walking, and we found an arcade place into the mall. And after some beers, it's so funny, play some stuff. So there was that totem used for buy the card or recharge them and check the money and that. When I saw that, I stand in front of the machine for 5 minutes and thinking, okay, this is our old Windows. Maybe there is something interesting here. So, stage number 1. As I told you, we bought the card. That one was the card, just a normal one with the name of the company. They have the I googled the application for the stuff. So I ran a little Go Buster over that one with a normal dictionary. There was not so much data. There was just a PHP running Drupal, and they have exposed the info.php. They were running an old version of PHP, from 2019. And there's interesting research from Redmoor. There's secure code. So if they have the file uploads and you have LFI, you can get some access to that one because the file is saved on the TMP folder and that. But we need the LFI. At the moment, we don't have anything about it. So I run a subfunder DNSX, just to check the different subdomains and that. And I found another one more interesting for the application who they use for check your salary and charge some money into the card, and you can check the history where you play and that. But I tried to broke the stuff too, and they had a middleware, so you cannot do any exploitation or SQLA or something like that. You can just check the credits and the last movement. So I say, okay, maybe there is not this way, maybe there's no talk this year. So I spent 1 week or 2 weeks trying to broke that application and without any lucky. So I turn the car and I see at the bottom they have some URLs from another company. So I Googled that one, and that was an Argentinian company. I read a little bit more, and they say, okay, we provide system for cashless stuff. But we are not also just arcade. We have amusement park, we have bowling, we have skate parks. So at that moment, I say, okay, I want to read a little bit more, and they have on the webpage published all the customers around the world. And that was in more than 7 countries and more than 2,000 installations around the world. So now I say, yeah, I want to try to hack this shit right now. So, thank you. I run another DNS stuff, and I found the documentation for the API version number 2. And they use application key, application secrets, but they encode that stuff with SHA-1, and they encode again. I don't know why. But you need a Stafford-generated authorization token, so that's fine. If we want to try to the API, that get without any token or something, we get status 200, the response. But the JSON say status success false, and status code 403. So access denied. That was fine, but we need the API key and the API secret for that. But what happens if we delete the version number 2 on the path? It's not supposed to work, but in this case, when we check, we have all the access for that stuff because they don't have any type of validation in that endpoint. And that happened with all the endpoints in the API in version number 1. So you can get a lot of 200 OK with data, without data, and a lot of 400 errors. And also the same structure like status success false, and status codes, random stuff. So stage number 3, the IDORs and the broken authorization. I check what is IDOR basically when you can get access to different objects. They are yours, if they are yours or not, because there's no any validation for the user supplies. So I check my car that say, okay, this is your number, this is your credit and your money. But if I check another car, I get that access to without any token or something. So that happened with the customer too. And also that was a sequential ID, so you can check the customer number 1, the customer number 2. And you can get the address, the phone, the email, the last movement, the car, who they use, where they use the car, and that with all the customer in the more than 7 countries. So after that stuff, I was this guy, because it's just a normal stuff, super simple. I wrote a little script just to get the cars and the customer who have some money into the account, and we can check, okay, maybe this one have 100, 200, and that, just for check that. And there was a 2,000 installation with the same vulnerability. Yeah. I came back to the website and started to check a little bit more, and they say, okay, we have this stuff in Spain. In Spain, we have some arcades, we have some in Prague, UK, Saudi Arabia, a lot of stuff. And also, one of them is so interesting because DEF CON is coming, and there is a big arcade in one of those hotels. And there's a big roller coaster, too. I don't want to say the name, but I think you know what I'm talking about. And they use the same system for that stuff. So that was a really, really big shit. I was checking a little bit more about the API, and I found another interesting could say, okay, you can get the car from the kiosk, and also you can check the salary and the amount in the mobile application. So I opened the store and tried to find it, and I didn't find it because that was Brazilian arcade. So I went to the APK combo APK for check the different stuff, and I found a lot of applications. So I download that one, I decompile that stuff with APK tool or Java decompilers. We get the code because that wasn't obfuscated, so you can read the entire code for the entire application. I get some, well, in this case, I run JS Beautifier just to make the code more pretty. And now we can get access to the API key, API secrets, the booking URLs, the account code, and that. I get more applications just for check if that was the same stuff. And yep, all of them was unobfuscated. And they have account code, which is a different number. That was hexadecimal, so that was kind of complicated to guess which one is for each company. And with that account code and the endpoint, who was the same one for everyone because it's the same API, you can get the company. But you have the list of the customers, so you can Google it. You can Google it, and that's fine. So, and you don't need to use the account code or something like that. What I'm saying, you can, for example, in this case, we send to the main API with account code, and let's say, okay, this one is amusement park from Ecuador. But if we Google the name of the company and we get the application for the stuff, we can just consume the API directly without any token or account code or something, and it's the same stuff. There was an interesting endpoint for charge some credit in your card. That say, okay, you need to generate the token, but we have the API key and the API secrets right now. So we generate the token, and there's a lot of different offers. In this case, there was $200, $500, and that. And they have ID, a sequential ID too. And there's an endpoint for sales. And if you read a little bit more, they say, okay, if you want to do some online recharge on that, please set the deliver true parameter to do that automatically, and you don't need to do anything. So you can generate a lot of stuff. But I don't know here, but in Argentina, $2,000 is a lot of money, or $200 too. So I don't want to be in jail for that stuff. About the endpoints into the API, into the under application, they have more than 20, all of them without any token and that, all the code in plain text, as I told you. And there was an interesting one about the customers. So in this case, we can find the update customer, and that's saying authorization mirror with the token generated before, but they didn't validate the stuff. So I don't know why are they sending that stuff. We can check the body, in this case, that have the name, the last name, the email, and the newsletter, just a random Boolean stuff. But the most interesting stuff, I think, was the email, because we don't have any validation or something. So what's happening if we change just random emails and get access to that account? So now we can do some account takeover and raise conditions. In this case, I check my account, and I have this email and that from webhook. But if we send a post, just changing the email, that's changed successfully without any validations, without any token. So I record a little demo for the stuff. It's just logging into my account and just showing the stuff, because there is no email or something for the user. And the customer say, hey, we are changing your email just for your information. So we log into our account, we exit, and we come back to a webhook. We send the post, and now we want to go to the application and ask for hey, I forgot my password. This one is my account, so please give me the password. We're going to ask for the stuff. I'm so bad at editing videos, so sorry. It could be more faster, I think, but at least I try. So we receive the email for change the password. We're going to come back to the application and say, okay, we're going to set the password 123, and we're going to receive the stuff in our email. It could be more fast. So we log in into an account with the new password and that, and we get access for the same account. And the other user didn't notice about that. I mean, when he tried to log it in again, we're going to check they don't have the user. But that happened with all the users. You can do that with all the users without any token or something. About the race condition is when you try to access to the same object at almost the same time. And there was a secure code for the Portswigger lab, which is so really interesting. There is some different types of attack for race condition, but sometimes it's so easy. In this case, they have offer stuff, like if you install the application in your phone, you can get 400 tickets for just reclaim some rewards and that. I wrote a little Python script, just a normal one. They send just random posts, in this case, 100 threads. I run the stuff, gets 5 hits, and when we check the history, you have 6 stuff too, with 300 tickets each one. And you can do that more technical if you want, but in this case, it was just a random Python. And this one just was tickets, but you have some reward about money and that, so maybe it could be more complicated and dangerous. Well, as I told you, in this case, there was 1,000 tickets and $100 bonus, but I didn't check the stuff too. As I told you, there was a booking portal for the different arcade and amusement, and they have a lot of exposed data. In this case, the most interesting are the TMP, the uploads, and the data. In the TMP, we can find some different logs from XML, some that data about the store, some pictures, some different AP and ports, data about the cacher and that. But not so interesting, I mean. And also there was uploads. I wrote a little Python script to check to find different interesting files because there was just a random picture from the places and that. And I found an iPhone 3 with some folders who say Facturación Argentina, who that means the invoice generated from Argentina. And in that folder, they have some certificates, and they use the stuff in Argentina for say, okay, I'm this company, trust me, and this person give me X thousand of pesos. So we can generate a lot of different invoices at the name of that company. But if we have the certificates, there is maybe some folder with all the invoices. So at the data folder, we found all the invoices from Argentina with all the customer data, where they live, how they pay, how money they pay, how much. And there was around 600, 700 stuff. But also they need a booking manager for the stuff because you can get all the bookings, but you need something to manage that stuff. So they have another portal who asks, okay, give me your name, your last name, or the reservation code. But if you just press enter, just click in search, you get all the reservation from all that customer, and some of them are new. In this case, there was from April, March. And you can get, and they have some SQLi, some application errors and that. You can manage all the stuff, and also you can set negative tips. So that's really simple from your stuff. All the customer data and that. About say servers, as I told you yesterday on the storytelling, sometimes I'm a little bit bored and I open shoot and I try to find something. So I say, okay, let's see what we can get from this stuff. First of all, they have the Sendex public, so you can create an account with just a random email. And in the Sendex, they have a lot of different videos showing the application and how that works, but they have a lot of usernames, password, email, application key, secrets, just in the random videos. And also they have some network maps, so that can give you some idea about how it's a network inside the different parks and arcades. Liquid credentials. Also, there was a go-karting in the US, who they have public the user stuff. They have the login page, but the webpack was exposed, so you can get all the different API endpoints. And in this case, you can get access to all the users, just the first name, the age, and where they live, but it's kind of private data. And also, you can get access to all the different monitors at the go-karting, so you can say, okay, maybe this guy is close to win, and that. That was without token too, so there was a lot of biggest problem. About the Spain was one of the biggest stuff because they have exposed the admin console for all the different amusement park, but they have a user and password, so I tried to do some SQLi and that didn't work, but they had exposed the webpack too, so we can see the entire code of the application. And they have some random API endpoint who you can check all the different machines into that place, and you can get the public IP from them, so you can do some stuff. But also, they had the login part public too, and you can see the different roles, how is the login endpoints. And as we saw at the beginning, they use Rust, like a random body for the responses. And that say, okay, if this one is 200, okay, just give me the token and that's fine. But if it's 407, do something, and if it's 420, do another stuff. I started to check, okay, what is 420? I thought he was talking about some weed maybe or something like that. So I changed the response code for 420, and that gave me this screen who say, okay, set the new password for this user. So we are the same stuff at the beginning. We can change all the password for all the user in the company. About the NFC, we have a lot of time. The Brazilian card. I don't want to explain a little bit more. There is a QR code for Chema Alonso blog who really explained a lot of information about the NFC vulnerabilities and that. And in my case, I just used the Flipper 0 for read the card because that was with the default credentials, the default keys, the key A and key B. So we get access, just a MyFair Classic, we have the UID, and the NFC had like 16 blocks and used the first one for the manufacturer data. And in this case, the card was empty. They just have some number on the first block. And if we move that number to decimal stuff, it's the same number as the card. So there's not much data into the card, so you can just replace that number and you can emulate that card with your flipper. Last week I presented this talk in Spain, and after that one of the guys came and said, hey, I went to amusement park close to here with my son last week, and I have the card here if you want to check. And I said, yeah, why not? And we scanned the card, and that was the same stuff. I mean, they changed the manufacturer, but they just have the number into the card. So basically, it's the same stuff, like Argentina and all the different countries. But for emulate or try to change the number, you need the Flipper 0 or some different stuff for the NFC. So I came back to the application and read a little bit more the code. And into the Android application, they have this string who say, okay, if it's not iOS, I don't know why they check the platform into the Android application. And if the NFC is okay, do something. So I say, okay, maybe there is something interesting here. So I asked my dad for the phone, and we logged into the application, just a random one. We have our user, normal stuff. And we can get access to all the cars, and also we can emulate the car with our phone. So we can just attach some random cars to the phone, and that's going to work because they have a PIN code, but they don't validate the stuff. So you can do that stuff, and you can do some account takeover too, so you can join all the stuff. I spoke so fast, but it's okay. I mean, what we can do, we can get the data from all the different customers, just from the car stuff or from the bookings. We can emulate and get access to them, charge some money into that stuff, and earn multiple prices. In Germany, they don't have so much customer here, at least in the webpage. They have a big amusement park in Baden, but that's it. So, but I was here in Europe. They have a lot, as I told you at the beginning. Spain is one of the countries with more customer, and then some in Turkey, Netherlands. But here in Germany, just Baden. So, see you there. About the conclusions. At 2024, we're still having some simple vulnerabilities in that stuff. So the 0 days are so fucking awesome too, but just with some random stuff, we can exploit the big companies. DevSecOps culture could help a lot to the companies to avoid these mistakes and fix them before in the development stage, and you don't need to wait until the product in production to fix it. Education and training for all the company, the normal stuff for everything. And when I found this stuff, I reported several times. And in April, May, they say, we had a meeting in Colombia. And say, okay, let's work together to fix all the stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I say, sure, let's do it. I mean, I reported that stuff, so if you want to work and you want to pay me for the stuff, that's perfect, but I'm doing this stuff just for fun, I mean. Okay, I wrote my report, I sent them, and that was like 2 months ago. And they didn't answer. So last week I sent another email, hey guys, what about? Did you fix the stuff or something? And no one answered, so I hope they fix it. And if not, you can go to Aden. No, I'm joking. So if you found something, report that stuff. Just don't be an asshole and just be defacing website and stuff. I mean, you can report that and just write a talk for the stuff. And if someone sends you some report, please pay a little bit of attention. You don't need to pay them, but just, hey, thank you for reporting the stuff, and that's it. But just don't be an asshole again. And that's all. So that was so fast. So we have like 35 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the very entertaining talk and the nice slides. And are there any questions here in the audience? Yeah.
Man, that must have been one hell of a Brazilian girl.
Any other questions?
No.
From my side, maybe. Are there any other things, other findings in the pipeline that you are still not talking about?
Yeah, I'm going to go present this talk in Vegas at DEF CON, and we'll be maybe more focused in the US machines. But also I'm going to present this talk in SkyTalks, who is not recorded. So if you want to see more another vulnerabilities, you can go there and check. But yeah, I'm going to go more in deep in some stuff, in some APIs, and some disclosures too.
Any other questions from the audience?
Okay, then thanks again.
Thank you.
And